Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by Steve.
A-bomb.
And we've just finished playing Heaven and Ale, even, which is a Kennerspiel nominee this year, I think. Now, it's about brewing beer, supposedly. So you have all these different ingredients. So you've got yeast and hops and various other types, which start off much further down. This is like a track. You're kind of, I don't know, cooking them or boiling them, mixing them together, and eventually they make a barrel of beer, and then you're trying to advance them along this track here. But essentially this is just one massive track that spirals around to here, and the objective of the game is to try and get as many points as you can, and I need to explain how the scoring works before I show you anything else. Hopefully at the end of the game you can have these at various positions, and your master brewer will have also started at the bottom and advanced around here somewhere, and you're basically going to score points according to your lowest ingredient in this case. So here you can see I'm on the 5, and this guy then will indicate the multiplier for your lowest ingredient. So in this case it's 4 times 5, so I'd get 20 points. But you also get a ratio here which shows you that you can move some of these down to move other ones up. So I could move this down 1, 2, 3 in order to move this one up by 1. And now I'm going to get 4 times 6 points, and I can do it again, 1, 2, 3, and I can move it up by another one. So at the end of the game, you're kind of moving all these things to advance them to the sort of best possible situation you can, and then you're going to get a big pile of points there. So a lot of the time in the game, you're trying to move these things up the tracks. But how do you do that? Well, you want to try and acquire tiles. You can see there's tiles all the way around the board here. So on your turn, you take your guy and you move as far as you like around the board, and then you stop on a spot and you say, I'm going to take this tile. So maybe I want this one for some reason. And you add it to your board, which is in 2 distinct halves. You can see you've got like a dark green half, and then if I move these slightly, you can see there's a light green half on the other side. And when it's your turn, if you stick it on the dark green side, you just pay whatever the value is. So money's pretty tight in this game, and you pay the coins to the bank. So I pay 3 and I put that here. Alternatively, if you put it on the light green side, you have to pay double, so this would actually cost me 6. Now the difference between the two sides is, when you decide to score something, which you do by landing on an appropriate space around the edge of the board with these purple things, there's a whole pile of different things you can score down here, and you plonk it on the appropriate one. So if I wanted to, I could score all my green tiles, and you can see I've got several different green tiles around here. If it's on this side, it gives you cash, so that would just give me 5 money. But if it's on this side, it moves the corresponding marker, so in this case it would move 1, 2, 3 places. So that's the main way that you're trying to move up all your various resource markers. Every time you're scoring anything on this side, it's moving the marker. If you score anything on this side, it doesn't really matter what the colour is, you're just getting cash, which is very important because obviously you need the cash to buy the tiles to place them in the appropriate spaces. Other things you can score are, you can score these monks. So for instance, if I scored one of these monks, he would score all the things that are around him. So in this case, I'd get 20 money, but no movement on the track because that would be on the other side. If you manage to completely surround one of these pen areas, then you take a shed. There's a whole supply of these sort of different sheds, and depending on which shed you take, like the total, there's a little table here that tells you the higher the total, the more, so the bigger the number you can take, and then the more things you can score. So I can kind of rescore 3 of the things around the outside here. So trying to complete certain areas is going to be pretty important as well. So people keep taking the turns, moving around and taking the tiles like this, and you're going to find they disappear. So you're kind of racing as you go around to grab the key tile. So it might be that you really want to have this tile all the way around here, but you're then going to be missing out on all these other tiles because you can't go backwards. Once you've gone all the way around, you kind of go back to the start here, and you then have to stop and wait for everyone else to go all the way back round. And once everyone's back at the start, you kind of reseed the board with a whole pile more tiles, and you go again over a bunch of different rounds. Now the only other thing to add really is you're also at the same time aiming for these sort of mini goals. So for example, someone who manages to get one of their resource markers up to the 20 spot, if you manage to get all of one of these round to the 20, then that's something that we're aiming for. Completing all of the green half of your board with tiles will be something else. So you can see throughout the game I got several things. Getting 6 tiles with the number 5 on. You can see I've got a bunch of different 5s here. 6 tiles with a 1 on. This was for getting my master brewer up to the 1 spot. And in order to claim those, you have to move your appropriate guy onto one of these sort of barrel spaces, and then you claim as many barrels as you manage to satisfy. So you're also kind of racing to complete these targets, trying to get the barrel up to here, and then you can score those and you take it, which means you're getting points at the end of the game, hopefully before someone else snipes it off you. So there's a lot going on here, but most points at the end is the winner. What do we think?
This mechanism is always very nice. The fact that all the actions are equally likely to come out, but there might be one you really want. But if it's really far away, you've got to weigh up the fact that you're missing out on more actions over the round for that one thing you really want. You can try and get a lot of money. Money fluctuates wildly in this, and managing your money is the key to success here. You can find yourself, if you're always short of money, you have to score things earlier than you want them to, or you have to move around further than you want to, or you kind of have to cash in some of your extra bonuses that you can claim at the end in for money. But you can, if you have a lot of money, you can kind of slow down. You can let everyone else race ahead, and you can go and hoover up all the cheap things they've missed up, and you fill your board them. And the more you fill up your board, the more sheds you get. It's very well balanced. You can think, well, putting a 5 on this side is clearly the strongest, but putting on the 5 on this side is an equal tactic here. Jonathan went for a lot of 5s in the money. Abel went for a lot of 5s in the moving up the resources side of the board. So all in all, it's got lots of every turn you've got a really tight decision about what you need to do. I hope that's still there when it comes back to me. If you really desperately want it, you maybe have to bite the bullet and move far too far forward. The very last round we had it, scoring tiles were at a premium. I'm like, I need to go first, so I went first. And I went a massive jump to pick up scoring tile, and Abel went even bigger jump to pick up one. And then Jonathan took a risk and think, there's going to be one left by the time it comes back to me. Moved forward, and then he went scoring tile, scoring tile, scoring tile. He got none. In that sort of game, you can't just hope things are going to come round to you, because they're not necessarily going to.
Abel?
Oh yeah, the bad, what I'd say is the theme. There is a theme. It doesn't really work for the game. You don't feel like you're brewing beer at any point. So that's the bad. The good is the mechanisms are brilliant. The actual idea of how you're trying to work out, pushing everything up is really good. You've got lots of interesting decisions, particularly when you're surrounding one and you're trying to count the numbers up to go, well, okay, do I want to get lots of master brewer movements, or do I actually want to score the tiles? It's very interesting. There's quite a lot of depth to that. I think the game's not that hard to explain as well. It looks like it should, be affected by AP, but I haven't really seen that yet, which is quite surprising for all the number of options you've got. All in all, really enjoyable game to play.
Dave?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think I really like how you have to time when you complete the 2 scoring options to get a card out. I like you have to weigh up how big you want to make your sheds. Just how quick it is to learn, but there's a lot of strategy that goes into every decision.
Rating?
I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'd score it 7.5. It's probably an 8 in my mind at the moment, but I think after about maybe 5, 8, 10 plays, I'll probably work out a lot of the best approach to go for, and so then it drop down to 7.5.
Okay.
I don't think I'll get up to 8 plays with this game. I think for dry themeless Euros, there are better ones out there. I enjoy the game. There were loads of tight decisions. It's a really smooth game, but the replayability, I just don't see myself playing this much. I'm just going to rate it 7.
Okay. I really enjoyed it. I did terribly in this game, though. I think I got 13 points or something horrendous by the end, because it's just so tight. Those scoring opportunities, like Steve said at the end, I was like, I can definitely get 2 more scoring opportunities before the end of the round. And they just went. And so, depending on who you're playing with, if people are very slow and relaxed, I'll get this, but some people are like, no, I really want this, and they go really far ahead, you've got to pay a lot of attention to what other people are doing. It's one of those games where there are a lot of tensions between different things. So, I need lots of money, but the more tiles we put on the money side, the less points you're scoring. I want to score lots of points, but then you're not going to have very much money, and it's very hard to score more points if you don't have much money. So I love all the tensions all the way through. It's difficult in the sense that you can really screw yourself over if you're not careful. If you can end up in a situation where you haven't got any money, and then you can't do anything to really get any more money, so it might take a play or so before you get your head around it, so you're not going to, as I say, do yourself in too much. But I still feel like there's lots more that this game holds for me. I'm still struggling to master the strategy here. I never tend to do very well, and that keeps me coming back. So I really having a great time with this one. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. All right, thanks for watching. That was
Heaven and Ale.